Well, it's time to check your money with America's money maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a member of and a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corp., member SIPC. How you doing, Vicki?
Hi, George. Good afternoon. Should I say good afternoon, George?
I don't think so.
I don't think
ain't
so.
nothing afternoon about this moment.
Really? Good morning,
like for real, ain't nothing afternoon about this moment. What you thinking about?
I don't know what I'm thinking about this morning. I guess because I'm so excited about Father's Day.
Yeah,
I want to make
day.
sure that we wish every father out there a happy Father's Day. I know by this point in time, everybody's been served breakfast in bed.
Thank you.
That they've gotten their special tie.
Yes,
that they've heard their children singing their accolades all around the house. So happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all the dads. And I am really blessed 4 times over, Vicki.
Yes, you are.
Yes, okay. I am.
All right. So, George, last week, and based on the feedback that we've gotten over the last week, I know that many of our listeners have been having conversations with their friends and family about zero, no more.
No more.
And I'm really pleased by that. I can hear that people are making commitments and taking the pledge that they will not leave the next generation with zero in financial assets, and they're going to start the next generation in a position that is advantageous or more advantageous than the position that they started out in with their financial lives. Last week, we talked about one of the most effective and efficient tools for creating an estate, which was what?
Life insurance.
Life insurance. We looked at what it is and how life insurance, when properly purchased, can be used to retain and transfer the value of human capital. But what we didn't discuss, and I realized this afterwards, was life insurance beneficiary planning.
Okay.
So, life insurance beneficiary planning, without this step, we may not realize when you actually get a life insurance policy. If you don't plan the beneficiaries well, you may not realize the full benefit of the capital that you have created. Let's go back for a second. Remember, the goal is to pass the financial baton to the next generation, whose goal is to grow, protect, and retain and transfer that capital.
Yes.
And then pass that baton to the next generation following them. So it's a process from generation to generation. But we haven't talked about this subject or asked ourselves the very first question, which is, in selecting the right beneficiary, should I select an individual or an individual for the benefit, or an institution, for the benefit of that individual? So I'm going to assume, at least for this conversation, that we're selecting an individual. One day we will come back and talk about institutions for beneficiaries.
Which they would love to hear.
Okay, possibly, okay. So if you select an individual or individuals, then the question becomes, should they receive the proceeds all at once in a lump sum, or should they receive it in a planned, systematic, spread over time, structured way? For today's discussion, I'm going to focus on beneficiaries being individuals and special plan processes that are available to policy owners. So I think you better ring the bell right here.
Oh, I was getting it. You know what? Thinking ahead, I was getting the bell ready.
Okay.
I see the lights.
All right, then great. So let me go back and focus everyone here. When you get an insurance policy, one of the first things after you filled out the application is they're going to ask you, who is the beneficiary? Most of the time, I'd say in the majority of the times that I've seen, most people choose an individual or possibly several individuals. But as the policy owner, we don't realize that we have not only the ability to name the beneficiary, but we have the ability to dictate how they receive the money. And that's really, really, really important, because the guidance that you can provide through the beneficiary selection is absolutely critical to how that capital, how that money being received can be retained for more than a month or a year, because of the fact that sometimes when we get big lump sums of money, we end up spending it more rapidly, not necessarily because we're bad people, but because we don't have necessarily the structure around us to help us make those decisions. And we're standing in one of the most emotional times in our lives. So individuals who receive money from a life insurance policy, meaning if you were the beneficiary, George,
yes,
you actually also have an option that you can choose not to receive that in a lump sum. So there are two opportunities there to actually what's called structure the receipts or have structured payments. Here are some of the common structured payments options other than lump sum. One of them is an interest option, where the life insurance company retains the proceeds and pays only the interest earned to the beneficiary at regular intervals. A next one is a fixed period option, where the company pays the proceeds together with interest at regular intervals for a fixed period of time. A third one is a fixed amount option, where you choose and say, okay, the policy was for $100,000, pay me $10,000 a year plus interest over the next 10 years. Or an annuity option, where you can actually take the proceeds and spread it out for guaranteed income over your entire lifetime. Why would this be important? When you're trying to build wealth, you want to make sure that the proceeds for any type of capital that you receive lasts and can be there for you as long as it possibly can be. It also gives you time for planning, because you don't have to make this an all or nothing option. You could actually say, $100,000, keep 50 and pay me a lifetime income. Let me have the other 50 over a period of time as far as interest only. And then the third option, or a third portion, being give me a certain amount in lump sum. So the beneficiary has that option, but also the owner of the policy, meaning the insured. So if I took an insurance policy, I could dictate or show or designate in my policy at the time that my beneficiaries will receive these proceeds under these types of structures. You are helping, not hurting, when you plan for the beneficiary as well as you plan for getting the insurance itself. So at this point in time, before we go and I say, my plate is full and all of that, I also want to talk to everyone about some really important and amazing news that happened this week.
Oh, you know what? I did see this.
Okay.
Now you know what? I'm sorry. We were talking on the before the air about this, and yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mellody Hobson
yes.
will become Starbucks vice chair when Howard Schultz, or when he stepped down about a week ago.
Yes.
She became the vice chair. For those of you who don't know Mellody Hobson, she's one of the most respected and knowledgeable Black business leaders. She is 49 years old. She joined Ariel Investment LLC, which is the largest African-American owned money manager in the United States, as an intern back in 1999. She rose through the ranks to become president of Ariel Investments with $13 billion of assets under management. I'm working to become Mellody Hobson.
Let me say, isn't she like in a relationship with like George Lucas or something?
I think she married him.
Yeah. So I couldn't remember. I was trying to get it right. Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Star Wars?
Mr. Star Wars.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
But under her leadership, Ariel Investment was named number 1 on the BE, that's Black Enterprises Asset Manager list in 2003. So if you want to look at a link for this story and for the attachments for the life insurance beneficiary clauses and how to plan beneficiaries, we put that there on Inspiration for the Nation, or you can always reach out to me at info@brackensfsn.com. So at this point, George, I will say our plate is full.
All right, Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corp. Member SIPC.